Ever had your armpits waxed? Ouch, right? Well, ancient Romans took smooth pits so seriously they had professional armpit pluckers. These specialists made bank yanking out hair one follicle at a time. Let's meet history's most peculiar beauticians. Here's the wild thing about ancient Romans. They were absolutely obsessed with being silky smooth everywhere. And I mean everywhere. They believed body hair was a sign of being uncivilized, like those barbaric Germanic tribes up north. Rich Romans would spend hours getting every last hair removed, using everything from pumice stones to hot wax. But the armpit, that was the ultimate status symbol. Having hairy pits basically screamed, "I'm too poor to afford a plucker." Walking around Rome with fuzzy underarms was like wearing a giant sign saying "Countryside Bumpkin." Even soldiers and gladiators got in on the action, because nothing says fierce warrior like perfectly plucked pits, am I right? Let me introduce you to the alipilus, ancient Rome's most in-demand beauty specialist. These folks had one very specific job: yanking armpit hair out by the roots. And here's the crazy part: they made serious cash doing it. An alipilus could earn more in a day than a teacher made in a week. Think about that. Pulling armpit hair was more valuable than educating kids. They used special bronze tweezers and had to have seriously steady hands. The best alipili, that's plural for armpit pluckers, fancy right, worked in fancy bathhouses where rich Romans would spend hours getting pampered. They were like the celebrity hairstylists of their day, except way more intimate. Let's check out the ancient Roman beauty toolkit. It's both fascinating and slightly terrifying. Their tweezers weren't the neat little things we have today. They used these massive bronze pincers called volselli that looked more like something you'd find in a blacksmith's shop. For waxing, they mixed pine resin with beeswax, which stuck to absolutely everything. And get this, they had this wild cream called dropax made from boiled pitch and vinegar. It smelled horrible, but rich Romans couldn't get enough of it. Some beauticians even used special curved blades called strigils to scrape away unwanted hair, along with a layer of skin. Ouch! Talk about suffering for beauty. Okay, let's talk about what it actually felt like to get your pits plucked in ancient Rome. Spoiler alert, it was about as fun as getting a root canal from a drunk dentist. First, you'd strip down and lie on a marble slab, while the alipilus examined your pits like they were searching for buried treasure. Then came the real fun. They'd grab each hair with those massive bronze tweezers and yank it out with surgical precision. No numbing cream, no on the count of 3, just pure, unadulterated pain. Rich Romans would grit their teeth through hours of this torture, sometimes even bringing a slave along whose only job was to fan them and mop up their stress sweat. And if you flinched too much, the alipilus might just charge you extra for being a difficult client. You won't believe who topped the ancient Roman smooth pit club. Emperor Nero was such a regular at his favorite alipilus that he made them part of his official court. Julius Caesar was famous for being totally obsessed with plucking. He'd get twitchy if he went more than a few days without a session. Even the tough guy Emperor Hadrian got in on the action, though he tried to keep it quiet. The poet Ovid wrote about spending fortunes on pit plucking, and Cleopatra, when she visited Rome, reportedly brought her own personal Egyptian hair removal expert. These weren't just beauty treatments, they were power moves. Here's where things get really interesting. Smooth pits weren't just about looking good, they were a total power flex. Walking around Rome with perfectly plucked armpits was like driving a Ferrari today. The logic went, if you had super smooth pits, you obviously had enough money to visit the alipilus regularly, which meant you were probably rolling in denarii. Poor folks couldn't afford professional plucking, so they'd either go au naturel or try DIY methods that, let's just say, didn't end well. The upper class got so caught up in this trend that they'd literally schedule social events right after their plucking sessions to show off their freshly smoothed pits. Talk about a weird flex. Ready for the weirdest part of ancient Roman pit care? After all that painful plucking, they'd slather on some seriously strange stuff. My favorite has to be the crocodile poop cream. Yes, you heard that right. Rich Romans would pay top dollar for this exotic Egyptian import. They also used dove blood mixed with wine, claiming it stopped hair from growing back. The fancy folks preferred a luxury cream made from crushed pearls and donkey milk. But the wildest treatment, a paste made from powdered lizard heads and female deer brain. They swore it worked wonders for razor burn. Honestly, I'll stick with my modern aloe vera. These armpit artists didn't just work anywhere, they set up shop in Rome's hottest social spots. The fancy public baths were like ancient day spas, complete with private plucking rooms where you could get your pits done in style. The really expensive places had special ergonomic chairs, well, marble slabs with cushions, and premium lighting for those tricky, stubborn hairs. But you'd also find alipili working in barbershops, marketplace stalls, and even making house calls to wealthy clients. Some rich families had a personal pit plucker on staff. Imagine that being your full-time job. The most prestigious spot was the Imperial Palace, where elite alipili earned small fortunes keeping the emperor's underarms silky smooth. The alipili weren't the only game in town when it came to ancient Roman hair removal. Some crafty entrepreneurs started offering quick-fix alternatives that threatened our favorite pit pluckers' monopoly. There were the xylothron specialists who used sketchy chemical creams that could remove hair in minutes, and maybe your skin too. Then came the thread-twisting experts from Egypt, promising less pain and faster results. The real game changer? A new wave of wax specialists armed with honey-based formulas and promises of longer-lasting smoothness. The alipili fought back hard though, spreading rumors about chemical burns and botched treatments. It was like an ancient Roman beauty turf war. You might think those ancient Roman pit pluckers are ancient history, but their influence lives on in ways that'll blow your mind. Today's waxing salons? Total alipili energy. That smooth, hairless ideal they pushed? It shaped beauty standards for centuries. Even those fancy med spas offering laser hair removal are basically high-tech versions of what those Roman beauticians dreamed about. The biggest difference? We've swapped those terrifying bronze tweezers for gentler tools, and thankfully, no one's using crocodile poop anymore. But next time you're wincing through a wax appointment, remember, you're part of a 2,000-year-old tradition of saying ouch in the name of beauty. And there you have it. The bizarre world of ancient Rome's armpit obsession. If you enjoyed this hairy tale of beauty and status, smash that like button and subscribe for more wild history stories. Share it with your waxing buddy, they'll get a kick out of it.